Welcome back to ErynMakesDesigns, where today I'm going to show you how to take the positive lemon you made on your 22-pin circular knitting machine and make it go bad for Halloween. Let's get going. It's really simple. All you need to do is have yourself some Halloween colors. I have a chartreuse and a grape from Caron Simply Soft, but you could use black or gray, white, whatever kind of colors you have that you want to use. I have my scissors, my darning needle, something to fill with. I am just continuing to try and use up my yarn scraps, some straight pins, cotton DK for the embroidery, and then over here I have the tubes which I have made ahead of time. This one here is the main body of the lemon, which is 30 rows, and then the leaf, which is 5 rows. If you'd like to see the full tutorial on how to make the lemon, including using the machine, you can find its tutorial here. But today is going to be nice and quick on how to make this lemon gone bad for Halloween. Let's start off by making our leaf. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my leaf in half, create a little pocket there, kind of like a pita. And then I'm going to, you can see that's half the width now. And then I am going to mattress stitch my sides together. And I want to make sure I am stitching through the same column of stitches all the way down and picking up the bar between the legs. Now I am using Halloween colors and they are dark, which makes it a little hard to see on videos and actually a little hard to see in real life. Again, I have that full version of the lemon tutorial where I go through all of this in a much slower pace. So if you want to refer to that, you can. I'm going to bring my needle up at the start of the column I'm going to be working into on this side, and I want to make sure I'm going to be following that column so that I don't get any pulling while I am doing my mattress stitch. And I'm going to come over to the other side and I am going to find the first stitch in the column on the other side I'm going to work into, and I'm going to pick up the bar that comes between the legs of that stitch, and I am going to go back and forth from each side of the leaf. Now when doing mattress stitch, I like to pick up one bar at a time. Lots of people will pick up 2 at a time. It's totally up to you. Obviously, if you pick up 2 at a time, it goes a bit faster. I like to pick up 1 at a time because it ensures I'm not picking up the wrong bar from the wrong stitch in a different column. It makes sure I'm not twisting my work. And that's what I like to do there. I'm at the end. It's quite quick because there's only 5 rows that we're working with in this leaf. There I go. And then I'm going to bring my tail through to meet up with the other tail. I'm going to tie them off. And then I'm going to leave them as they are because I will be using the tails to stitch them onto the leaf onto the body of the lemon. I'm not going to cut them, and I'm not going to, what's happened there? I'm not going to hide them in the work. There we go. And the leaf is done and ready. Just pop that to the side. And now we'll get on and make the body of the lemon. So just like we would be making a hat, I'm going to turn the work into itself, pull one of the tails through the center to meet up with the other tail, tie them in a knot and make sure it's nice and tight. And then I'm going to cut that. And I'm going to keep these tails for sewing. And then I'm just going to flip it inside out. You can see we have a bit of bunching up around here at the top. If I just put my fingers inside and smooth around, then it smooths that out. And I am going to fill. Now, when filling my work, I want to make sure that it's nice and firm. I don't want it to be loose and floppy, but I also don't want it to be so full that the stitches here begin to pull. I think then it doesn't look very professional. So it's up to you. You can decide once you've gotten it full. I will stop there. I'm going to put my drawstring in, and then I can look back before I close it and see if I like how full it is. As I said, I am trying to use up my bags of yarn scraps, but you can use polyfill or an organic yarn of your choice, whatever you like to fill your work with. Right, I am now going to go around all of these stitches of this opening, and I'm going to pick up every other leg of each stitch. So I pick up that leg, I'm skipping the next one, and I make my way all the way around. Now, some of you will know that when you are trying to close your openings, it will quite often not close easily, and you'll end up having to pull very tightly. I have a little trick that I'll show you in a moment that stops that from happening. Okay, I've come all the way around, I've picked up every other leg, and I'll just show you what I was talking about there. You pull this and it doesn't stay shut. I'll show you what I do. Before we do that, I'm going to check to make sure that I am happy with how much filling is in here. I think I'm going to add just a little bit more. I'm curious to know what you do with your yarn scraps. If you have any projects that you've seen that you are using them for to get rid of them. If you have some great ideas, I'd love for you to pop them in the comments. Right, now I am going to go back around, but this time instead of picking up every single one of these legs that I did the first time around, I am going to pick up every other one. So pick up the first one, skip that one, pick up the next one, skip this one, and I'm going to make my way around a second time, and it will be like magic. Now I have one more stitch which I meant to skip, but as it is the last one, I'm going to go under it. And then I will pull both tails at the same time. And look how that stays closed. So we're going to tie a knot and then hide our tails in our work. Pop both tails back onto the needle and bring the needle into the body and out the other side. I'll cut those tails and add them to my collection. Right, and there we go. We have the body of our lemon. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to shape the little bunched end of our lemon. You can see that we have two ends to our lemon. We have the end which is quite smooth, and then we have the end where there's a lot of yarn gathered here. This is where we just made our drawstring. This is the end in which we are going to sew our leaf to, and it will hide all of this bunching. And it is this smooth end that we are going to use for making our bunched end to our lemon. So I'm going to take another one of my tails And then I'm going to count down 3 stitches from the end. So 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to make my way all the way around the lemon, around this end, picking up every other stitch. So we aren't picking up every other leg, we're picking up the full stitch. So you should have 2 legs on your bar, on your needle, pardon me. So we'll pick up the first stitch, miss the next one, pick up the next one, and I'm going to make my way all the way around this end. Give yourself a bit of a tail there. Picking up every other stitch so that I can have a gathering to create that pinched in end. That's what I'm trying to say, pinched, not bunched. And again, just like before, I have one more stitch that I'm meant to go over, but I'm going to go under it, so it brings me right next to the starting tail. And then once I'm here, I'm going to pull, and you can see we get that little pinched in bit of our lemon. Tie your tails together, give another good pull. There you go. Pop your other tail back on, and just like before, we are going to hide our tails in our work. There. Catch tails. And we have the body of our lemon. And now I'm going to sew my leaf onto the top. I have 2 tails here. I just need to use one for sewing. The other one I'm going to leave there, and I will use that for tying off the tail when I'm done sewing. And I'm going to find where I want the front of my lemon to be. So this is going to be the front here. And I will take my lemon, and this is where you can use your straight pins just to pin your lemon in place. Doesn't have to be perfectly pinned, but just where you want it to be before you start sewing. Okay. Then I'm going to go and I'm going to pick up a stitch on the body of my lemon. Make sure when you are picking up your stitches, you are coming inside and grabbing some of that inside layer. You have 2 layers, remember? This way, if the leaf gets pulled a bit, it's not going to stretch out the shape of the lemon. And I am just going to go around, picking up 1, maybe 2 stitches at a time, and sewing from the leaf to the body. Here I'm going to pick up 2 stitches. Doing that because, of course, the leaf is smaller than the lemon. I can take my pin out now. Go. There we are. The whole point of this video is to show you how you don't need to go and get a special Halloween pattern, although I do have one in my Etsy shop. Maybe I'm doing myself a disservice by saying this, but you can take anything. You can take anything and make it look like it's been made for Halloween. I mean, this is a lemon from my Positive Fruit and Veg series. And I'll show you at the end the other ones I've turned bad. But all I'm doing is using Halloween colors. I mean, this is my little Frankenstein lemon. It's gone really bad. But it's easy. You just change your colors, change how you are, the embroidery you do on it. Of course, the embroidery on this is not so as happy as my positive lemon normally looks. It's lots of fun playing around with things like this and seeing what you can do. Okay, and I just have one more stitch to go through. And I'm going to meet up with that original tail, tie a tight knot, pop the other tail back onto the needle, and hide these tails. And there we go. We have the body of the lemon and the leaf embroidered on, and the next thing I'm going to do is, the leaf sewn on, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to embroider the eyes and the little scar. Now let's get on with our embroidery, and this is really when our little happy positive lemon turns into our little lemon gone bad Frankenstein. To start off, you are going to mark out where you're going to do your embroidery. I am going to find what looks like a center column of stitches here for me, and then I'm going to mark off a stitch on either side. So I am going to count over, let's see, 1 row, 2, so we've got 2 stitches there, and I'm going to do the same on the other side, 1, 2, and I'm going to check to make sure that they're not. Just drop that one down. Want to make sure that they are in the same row of stitches going across. I'm using a DK sport weight cotton yarn. I like it because it doesn't leave behind any lint. I will start at the back and bring my needle out beside that stitch that I marked. Now, I have been recording all afternoon with a very cloudy, stormy sky outside, so I've been sat right in front of the window, but of course the sun has decided to make an appearance, so that is causing a bit of distortion to the video. Hopefully I can get through before the sun comes out. Whoever says that they don't want the sun to come out. Anyway, that's me today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap around this stitch about 6 times. You can wrap around as many times as you like, but I'm going to do it 6 times, making sure that I go in and out of the same hole each time. And you will see as I get my stitches on here, the wraps, that I am not just going back and forth, just over. I'm actually wrapping around the bottom and the top of where I'm stitching each time to try and give it a roundness to its shape. That's 4. When embroidering on particularly knitted work, you want to make sure that you are not pulling your work too tight. Otherwise, it is going to distort the stitches. There's 5, and my final one, 6. And this time I'm going to come out and I'm going to be beside the stitch I marked on the left-hand side. And I'm going to repeat that again. Let's make sure that goes over top. I think that gives a rounder shape by doing what I said, and I'll show you again over here. So going in and out of the same stitch, sorry, in and out of the same hole. Get rid of all of these pins now. Two. Three. Again, wrapping around the top and the bottom instead of just going over the top. 4, 5, and then this last one is going to be 6. And I'm not going to come out at the back to finish off. I'm going to come out at the top here to create my first scar. Just make sure that this has come through the way I want it to. So there's the eyes. And then I'm going to make a scar up here. So I'm going to come from here over to and in, add another stitch. I'll look to see where that yarn is going to lie, and then I'm going to come out beside it to get that cross stitching you get on scars. So I've come out, and I'm going to go back in and then out and down further along the scar. You can see. Just give everything a little bit of a pull to tighten it up a bit. Not too much though. That's a little too far down. So I'll come back in and up at this one. There we go. And this time, once I come in, I'm going to come back out and put in another scar, which I think I'll have over here. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing I've done to create this scar. Put in, do I want it to go? Do you know what? I think I want this scar. I'm going to come out a little bit further down so that my scar can go this way. Back in. And like I said before, bring it so you can see where it's going to lie. I'll bring it out down here so that I can create that cross stitching to the scar. And out over here, the same thing. And this time, once I've come in, give everything a little bit more of a tug, tighten it up. And this time, once I come back in, I am going to come out and meet my starting tail that I left at the back. Let's go back and make sure. Let's have a look to see what we think of our lemon gone bad. I think that's looking really good. And I'm going to tie the tails in a secure knot, but I'm not going to pull them too tightly or else it will distort my embroidery on the front. And I will pop that tail back on. And bring it back in. There we go. Cut those tails. Pull the knitting out. And there we go. Oh, a little bit of my filling came out. You can use your needle to zhoosh up. A little more shape to your eyes if you like to fix your stitches. But there we go. My Halloween lemon. And if you enjoyed making yourself your little Halloween lemon gone bad, then you might be interested in making yourself my little witch's cauldron. You can find its tutorial here, made on the 22-pin circular knitting machine. I hope you enjoyed that. See you soon.